Right, hello everyone, welcome to not a figure review thing today. We're doing a sort of a requested collection showcase. This was requested on my Discord link description as always, and I thought I'd go through pretty much my entire Doctor Who collection. Or not, yeah, I'd say pretty much all of it, because there's a lot. I've got a lot. I've been collecting figures for probably for over 15 years, I'd even say. Probably, yeah, since way before 2010. So, for over 15 years. So, we're going to start with Classic Doctors. We're going to start in the beginning. We're going to start with the first Doctor I have. Not just one. Just one. Not two. Not three. But three and a bit. I knocked something over. I knocked over one of my flower pots. So these are my first Doctors. I have 3 Hartnells and Richard Hurndall. I don't think there's many I'm missing. I know they did a black and white one, but I think that was like a special edition for, I believe, for a Comic Con, I believe. And I know they did also do a David Bradley one with the Adventure in Space and Time TARDIS, the sort of that weird sort of blue one, that like really quite light blue one. I know they're all blue. That's a really stupid way of saying it. Yeah, I think they're the only two I'm aware. Oh no, they did the Web Planet one, because this is the Sensorites one with the red trousers. They did one with the red. I think they did like sort of a red and brown sort of matching waistcoat and necktie. From the 3 Doctors, this is from the 11 Doctor box set. This is the first one I had. This one came with I believe it came with a walking stick. Although the other one I'm missing is the original Unearthly Child one, which was with the cloak. I know this one has the scarf and the hat, but it's a slightly different one. There was one that was you had the cloak, the cape sort of thing. So this one was the only one that came with a walking stick, I believe. But this is probably the least detailed one. It's probably one of the most simpler ones. Yeah, it's quite nice. Very sort of basic sort of design. Then this was the next one I got. This is the Sensorites one. So it's got the sort of the weird sort of brown pajamas, and then the sort of more creamier striped waistcoat, and then the blue necktie. We've got this I got with the TARDIS. This is the unaired pilot costume. So this is the costume if you've seen the pilot of Unearthly Child. It used to be on BritBox or ITVX if Classic Who's still on there. This had the pilot because of course it isn't on iPlayer because of all that stuff. But they have it on ITVX or BritBox if Doctor Who's still on there. But when it was, you could have the Unearthly Child on it, and it also had the unaired pilot, which is just a slightly different version of Unearthly Child. Sort of like for Sherlock, there's 2 episode 1s. There's 2 versions of A Study in Pink. It's sort of like that. So the only difference is they've got this different coat mold rather than the cloak, I think. Or did he have this coat and that? I don't know. But I like the sort of grey scarf he's got, and he's got the little... Was it the Ushanka hat? I don't know. Ushanka? No, I didn't. And then finally we have the Richard Hurndall First Doctor from the 5 Doctors. He's got his little fingerless gloves. Is he slightly tubbier than Hartnell? I think he looks slightly bigger, like yeah. I think is it the same? No, it is the same mold. Is it just me? Or is he just? I just think he looks a bit tubbier than old Bill over here. But it's a very good likeness. It's quite a good likeness of Richard Hurndall there. I like that. I quite like the hair. You can tell which is the older figure because you can see how less detailed the hair is. It's just all grey, and then the later ones have the sort of shading and stuff. The sort of a lighter sort of highlights. You can see, of course, the base of it was grey, and then they put the sort of the white streaks in, and of course this was white, so we had these sort of weird, sort of darker streaks in it. So that's all my first Doctors. Now we go on to Troughton, number 2. Next up, we have the second Doctor, and like the first Doctor, I have not 1, but 2, not 3. I said not 3. Oh, they never stood up. But 4. Now I think I did have done these before on the other channel, and they were just as dusty. But I have the same amount of Troughton. He never stands up. So this is from the 3 Doctors. So he's got that sort of blue shirt and the red and yellowy necktie, handkerchief thing, and his sort of weird grey trousers. All very nice, very simple. In terms of missing variants, I think they also did a black and white one with a Cyberman for a Comic Con years ago. And they also did, because I have this is the Androgum one. I have the non-Androgum. There's the non-Androgum Second Doctor from the 13 Doctors set. That's the other sort of big variant I know I don't have. I think apart from that, I might have all the variants, because I think this was the first Second Doctor as well. The first Second Doctor they released. This is the War Games one. I don't actually know how accurate this is when they colorized, because they did colorize War Games a while ago, didn't they? I can't remember if he had a white shirt or a blue one like this, but I do like he's got the tear on the trouser, which was a lot more prominent on like the images they had. I like the very battered coat. I do like also, if you look, he's got this weird sort of, he's like he's eating a lot of licorice or something. He's got these like really weird coloured lips and a lot of eyeliner. His eyes are very sort of a lot sort of bolder, aren't they? Than sort of the original one. Then the next one I got was... Actually, I think I might have gotten this one before that one, actually. Did this come out before the TARDIS? I think it did. Because that was the War Games TARDIS. That was the first one that had the different coloured police box signs on the top. But this is the Androgum Second Doctor. Of course, it's missing a few things, like he had like the hat, he had the top hat, he wore like the suit, and he had the like sort of moles on his face. All they've really done here is just given him sort of orange eyebrows from the two Doctors. I do quite like this costume. I quite like the colouring. I like this like... It's not too blue and it's not too sort of plain. Yeah, just I got the wacky eyebrows. I mean, I could easily make him the not Androgum one, but that sort of adds to its uniqueness. And the newest one I've got, and probably my favourite one, is the... None of these guys stand up. Is the fur coat Second Doctor, which was a prototype for years, I believe, until they did the TARDIS for it as well. And I do like TARDIS. I do quite like it as well. It's a very unique one. It's the one that has the sign on the other way. There'll definitely be a TARDIS one down the line. There'll definitely be a TARDIS one of these. But this is probably my favourite figure. I love this coat. I love how it's coloured. I like the texture of it. The string could be a bit more sort of prominent because there's the moulding for it, but it's sort of coloured roughly like the same as the rest of the coat. But I just love this coat. This is a fantastic coat. So these are the Troughtons. So now we're through the 60s. We're going to move on to the 70s now and do number 3. On to the Third Doctor. Now, I believe it might be but third or fourth Doctors might be the ones I have the most of, because I have about here, I believe it's all of them, 2, 4, 6. I have 7 Third Doctors. So the very first one I got was this one, because I never got the 11 Doctor set when it came out. I got it quite later. Some of them I have before I got that set, but this was the first Third Doctor I got. This is the one from Planet of the Daleks. I think it was in one of those Dr. Dalek 2-packs. I only got them I think the only ones I got were for 3 and 4, I think. Oh, 3, 4 and 5, sorry. They're the only ones I got from those from back in 2013. And this was the one I got. It is massively inaccurate, mainly to the fact that the coat he wears in that story is the only one that's double-breasted, and there's 2 sets of buttons. And it was more sort of corduroy thing. I believe he also wore leather driving gloves in that whole episode, and or just leather gloves in that episode, and of course he doesn't wear them in this figure. So it's a bit inaccurate, but it was the first one I had, so there. The next one was the one from the 11 Doctors box set, which was this one. Now, bearing in mind that the first and second Doctors in this box were the 3 Doctor ones, this is not the 3 Doctors Doctor, this is the one from, I believe it's Carnival of Monsters. Because this is sort of the first time the Doctor wore pretty much a different outfit every episode. Mostly. So this is the first one I had that had a coat. Also, I don't know if it's me. I think it's me, but his head looks slightly off. He's had that all the time. Ever since I got this set, his head's been like slightly off. It's been weird, but there we go. The next one I got, now this was the first B&M one I got, which was this one. This is the Carnival of Monsters Third Doctor, which came with, I think it was Joe and the Master, and this one's slightly broken. The jacket, the poppers for the jacket have sort of come out. They're very loosely glued in, but they sort of hold on on their own. There are a few variants I don't have. The big one, of course, is the 3 Doctors one. I don't have the 3 Doctors Third Doctor, or, like I said, any of the ones with the black and sort of the red piping one, so from Death to the Daleks, or the Green Death. I also don't have any of the ones from sort of his first 2 series, when he had sort of the black outfit. I don't have also the Time Warrior one, that's the other one I don't have, which was, it's the green jacket, but with a white shirt and a bow tie. So this, but green, basically. And that's sure, because the shirt was white. But is this the only bow tie one I've got? No, there's another one I've got with bow tie. Yeah, this is the one of the 2 bow tie ones I have. And it's very simple, it's very nice sort of blue. I quite like the blue, because he had, it was like a blue sort of, I quite like the coat he had as well. It's the only time he wears blue. He never really wears blue. No, it's sort of there's always something green. Green sort of is a more common colour. And then we have, this is the Time Monster Doctor, which came with the TARDIS. This is, the reason he's got the white cravat is because in this episode he has the open shirt, he has open collar, and this is before they made the open collar mould, so they just did this to give the illusion of an open mould. The first time actually they did the open mould was on the 4th Doctor Generation figure, but that torso was designed for a Tom Baker head, not a Pertwee head, so they couldn't stick the head in, because the moulding for the head and the peg was slightly different. Right, next up we have the Time Monster ones. This is the only other bow tie one I have, and this is probably one of my favourites. I think this is the first one that actually coloured the frilling colour. I think this might be the first one that did that. This is a slightly inaccurate one, because with that one I think he has a jacket undone, he has like a little funky waistcoat, similar to the one he wears in Planet the Spiders, and sort of bluish one. The colours are right, with the sort of, you know, with the different coloured thing. This is probably one of the more detailed figures in terms of like the detail. Yeah, detailed in terms of detailing. That's very good, me. Only got two more. Oh! This is the one from 5 Doctors. So this is a very unique figure, because this is the very first Jon Pertwee 3rd Doctor figure to have the open clock. Essentially what that one's meant to be, but this one was done properly. They just remodeled it, which is very nice. I think there's a few things off. I think the shirt had didn't have like a sort of golden or sort of coppery sort of lining on the frills. It may have been wrong, but without the coat, it just looks like sort of like that figure. Really, it looks like sort of it's got very bluish lips. Sometimes they give him blue lips, and sometimes they don't. It's quite weird. And then yeah, there's the coat. Normally this is the same colour. I think I threw this on the inside, sort of the orange. This colour just quite nice. I do like how they are removable. It does add a bit of customization. Now the last one, which I think I haven't shown at all, because I think most of these were shown on the last video. Maybe even I think you were as well. But this one, quite new actually. I believe actually still available to buy. This is the Vortex Edition 3rd Doctor. Now this is a very special one. As you can see, it has a brand new head sculpt from sort of the earlier year. I believe it's inspired by the title sequence face. He has that very nice grin, which I think fits, because the 3rd Doctor was quite a smiley person, and obviously this is the early days when he had a bit less hair. But the figure specifically is from, I believe it's the Mutants, isn't it? So he has this lovely, so sort of a more accurate version of this outfit. So the red's a little bit darker, and the detailing on the buttons and the shirt and the jacket and the lining is a bit less sort of prominent, I guess you could say. And this is also the first one to have the gloves, to have the sort of driving gloves on, or the not driving gloves, they're just sort of leather gloves. And of course he has the black coat with the purple inside, and a very nice detailed sort of cravat thing there. This figure did actually come with a lot of accessories. It came with, I think, his Sonic, it came with the Kronos crystal from Time Monster, and a maggot. So that is all of my 3rd Doctors, and now we must move them away to make space for number 4. So now we're on to number 4. Now I guess it isn't really that much surprise, but I have more 4th Doctors than any other incarnation of the Doctor, maybe even 10. At least with all my Tom Bakers are all unique. I believe I've counted them, 9 unique different 9th Doctor variants. To us, all my Doctors, apart from maybe my 5th Doctors, they're all pretty different. But this is the first one I got. This was from the Dr. Dalek 2-packs. This is from Genesis. Now I have to be quite gentle with this one, because he's a bit broken. The peg, it falls in. Like, it doesn't like stand up on its own, it sort of falls in. So when I took the head off, the peg sort of runs away. I think the way to get around it is really what I got to do is just sand the inside of the head. I know I've got some sandpaper somewhere. I might just sand the inside of the head a bit, sort of widen the gap, and it should sit down a bit better. So you'll see him at the end. So this is the first 4th Doctor I had. It's a bit inaccurate because in this is the Series 12 outfit. He never had. I think he had a green tie, not a red one, and you can slightly see the sort of the burgundy of the jacket underneath. I guess you could also say this is entirely an experiment variant. They're pretty much the same, but yeah, we'll gently move them over here. The next one I got, which was a bit more complete, I guess you could say, was this one. This was from the 11 Doctors pack. This is a season 13 variant, so from stories like well, pretty much every series season 13 story apart from the first 3, I think. So this is like from the Android Invasion, Seeds of Death, Brain of Morbius, that sort of thing. I think maybe specifically Krynoid the Seeds of Doom because of the hat. I think he only wore a green hat in that story. I think all the other ones might have been just like a brown one. I'm not too sure, but this is quite nice. It has that very unique sort of sort of woolly, sort of tweedy, sort of a frock coat, which I would quite like to see done again because I think they could do it with a lot more interesting sort of details. Also, one thing you can see there is I like with the Fourth Doctor how they've weathered the shoes in the bottom of his trousers. You might slightly see there, but I just quite like how they've done that on the hat because these are quite old figures, but he's relatively intact. I'm not a massive fan of the grey coat from season 13, not really, but I think it was. Yes, so this is the Pyramids of Mars one. This was the first B&M Fourth Doctor I got. This came with I believe the first classic K9 and Leela. And he has, of course, his massive grin. I do love this outfit. The sort of. To us, my favourite outfit probably would be the season 14 ones with Leela. So Face of Evil and Robots of Death, where he wore a brown frock coat. This is sort of the purple one he wore in things like Pyramids of Mars, Mask of Mandragora, and Hand of Fear. It's probably the nearest you get to say like the Hand of Fear outfit. But he wore like some regular sort of red tie. He had a brown frock coat. And the scarf didn't wrap around his neck, it sort of sat around his shoulders. I think for a Vortex edition figure would be very good. But yeah, this is the only grinning Fourth Doctor I've got. Because in the early days when they did the Series 12 and he had like a swappable head, so you could have the grinning or not grinning. But yeah, it's such a stupid face. I love it. This came in. This is the Talons of Weng-Chiang costume, which basically is just a Third Doctor again. That's how they can do the coat. They just changed the head slightly. So he's got so I think they redid the torso a little bit to give it the tie and stuff. It doesn't have a deerstalker hat or a elephant gun, sadly. That would be very interesting. Or then you go around with like a cane or something, like a stick or something. I'm not too sure, but they give him the gloves as well. The sort of velour, sort of velvety gloves he has. Oh right, it's quite very simple. What's this? A Third Doctor figure with a Fourth Doctor head on top. But that came with an Auton and I believe the Brigadier. It was like a 70s pack, which is nice. Oh good God, he went don't stand that right. I'm pretty sure this was the next one. This is the regenerated Fourth Doctor. These look really weird. Not doing them in chronological order. I'm doing the order I got them. So this is the regenerated Fourth Doctor from Robot. This came with a TARDIS, if I remember correctly. And this came out before they did the Five Doctors Third Doctor. I'm pointing off screen. You can't see the camera because it cuts off about there. But this came out before the open collar Five Doctors Third Doctor. They've really highlighted. I mean, his sideburns were a lot lighter. They don't think they were that light, but yeah, he does look very sort of young and sort of a lot more sort of confused. But he's meant to be sort of shown like that, really. Hello. Actually, no, you can stand up. You can lie down because you're meant to lie down. I've screwed up the little Taylor sign. There we go. So yeah, you can lie dead on your feet, but you. Stand up. The next one. Now this is probably my favourite one I've got. This is my Shada Fourth Doctor, which came with the Shada TARDIS. This is probably my favourite. I do like this costume. It's very simple. The brown coat, season 16 and 17. Very simple. I do love. This is the only one I have with the scarf. I don't have the beige one from like City of Death, and I don't have the season 18 costume. But this is probably my favourite one I've got. I like. This is one of the few ones I had that hasn't got the hat either. Yeah, it's a little bit off. I don't know if it's just the figure I bought or they did it with the set, but they haven't coloured the waistcoat. They haven't coloured the waistcoat brown. That bit there and a bit there should be the waistcoat. But it's my favourite. It's also the easiest one to remove the scarf from because it's a bit more loose. And yeah, it's a weird thing that some of these have printing on the back. I think you've got printing on the back. I don't think. Do you? No, you do. But you don't, and there's another one I've got that doesn't either, and that is the next one I've got. Now this one is also a broken one, but is very nice looking. I'm very annoyed it is broken because it's very, very good looking. This is my regular season 12 Fourth Doctor that came with the K1 robot, and to us, it's probably my favourite. I'm always been a massive fan of his original costume, but I do quite like it. It's a lot brighter red on the camera than it is, but I think it is because it's a little bit gloomy in here. I think the thing I love about this costume is how baggy the pockets are on the coat. Like, because of course they're filled with crap. They're filled with apple cores and bags of sweets. Because he does carry more than one bag of sweets. Because I watched, it was The Sunmakers not long ago. And when he's captured, he gives the other guy in prison his bag of sweets. We said jelly babies, but they're licorice all sorts. And then when he meets the not the collector, the gatherer. That's it. When he meets the gatherer, we says humbugs, but I think they are actually jelly babies. But he gives them another bag of sweets, or he gives them sweets. So that means the Doctor at all times is carrying at least a little paper bag of sweets, which I find quite funny. I think that's why I haven't looked for Doctor. He just carries around sweets everywhere, you know. And that, you know, like, you've brought a snack. No other Doctor carries around a snack. I mean, some Doctors brought jelly babies. I mean, technically, the first Doctor had jelly babies. Technically, was actually the second Doctor in the Three Doctors. He offers the Brigadier jelly babies. That's actually the first time they introduced the jelly baby. Is actually the second Doctor, actually, not the fourth Doctor. He's one that sort of made it fly. The fourth Doctor is the fortnight for jelly babies. That doesn't make sense, but it does in my head. I believe I have skipped one, actually, looking at this. I got a bit excited. I have skipped that, but the last two are sort of the weird ones of the pack. So we have my other one. Most of these are from season 13. Well, I got 3 from season 13, 2 from season 12, 1 from season 14. Technically, you're also from season 12, technically as well. So I have 3 from season 12, and 2 from season 14, technically as well. That's the last one. This is the Terror of the Zygons, fourth Doctor, with his very weird head. This makes his low nose look huge. It's because of the hair. He hasn't got the hair. Because the hair goes over his brow, and it just looks a bit weird. I think that's why it looks weird. When he's walking across the Highlands in the beginning, he has his little Scottish hat and his tartan scarf. I guess you could take the head off, and because it's a regular fourth Doctor body, you could take the head off and replace it with that one, or that one, or that one, and swap it. Maybe not with that one, because I think that was a little bit differently put in, but you could swap it with, say, that one, and put it on, and have a more normal fourth Doctor. I'm tempted to, because I could put the scarf and head on that one on here and make him look a bit better. I have shown on the last channel, this is the most recent fourth Doctor I've got. This is him in his Time Lord disguise from The Deadly Assassin. So he's got again, a very weird head. Again, I think it's just the hair. Hair's all tucked away, but he's got his little Time Lord hat on. He's got the stolen robes, and yeah, it's just very, very plain, really. You can look up his skirt. Woo! Oh, gee, I've upskirted the fourth Doctor. In that something. Very simple figure. Probably not my favourite. It's not on display. I think the two I have on display, are you and you. You can't go on display. But it's a shame, because look how detailed the trousers are. How they've made them look really woolly, and it's just a really nice little detail. So yeah, that's now on to number 5. They get quicker now because I haven't got that many. Because that was 9 figures. I haven't got that many for any other classic Doctor. So we're getting quicker. So now the amounts of Doctors, the numbers get quite smaller now, because there are, well, a lot less of I have a lot less 80s Doctors than 70s Doctors. So we're on to now the fifth Doctor, sorry. So the fifth Doctor, I only have 5. The first one I had, like 3 and 4, came from... Oh, not you, I didn't know you were in frame. Came from a Dr. Dalek 2-pack. This is from Resurrection of the Daleks, season 21. And he does look a little bit battered, because he's the oldest one. He's got this nice little hat on. He's got his more orangey sort of trousers. I always thought I liked this one, but I think I do prefer his earlier outfit with the different jumper and the trousers. Out of the 3, 2 of them have hats. The next one I had was... This is the one I got from the 11 Doctors packs. This is just a regular Series 19/Series 20 figure. Nothing really ridiculous about this one, just all very normal. He did come with the Sonic, this one did come with the Sonic, but nothing really out of the ordinary with this guy. It's quite normal, but yeah, I decided to prefer these ones, these trousers. They always remind me of McDonald's straws, like the old plastic ones, because they used to have those red and yellow stripes on them. The next one I got was this one. This one came with a TARDIS. This is the Caves of Randazani 5th Doctor. Now, when they first did this figure, this sort of design, the dirt and stuff, that only came with the 6th Doctor head. And that was actually the first time I actually saw the season 21 costume. But this is, I believe, the first time they've done it with the 5th Doctor head, not the 6th Doctor head. That's a very old, I imagine quite rare figure, I imagine, nowadays. And they sort of simplified what the trousers look like. They didn't do all these sort of dividing lines. I feel there's not a lot of this. I'm doing this in frame. This is like my 3rd day of recording these, because I keep recording them quite late in the evening when there's not little light, and I'm just an idiot. But they've gone for a more simplistic style, which fits more on what you saw on the television, which is quite nice. And they've muddied the shoes, but of course the main details, of course, is there's no celery, and also the massive smear of dirt on his arm from falling over and exploding and all that. And I like this sort of it's like someone just got on the thumb and like that on the middle of his jumper. But of course, it's got a good trademark of the season 21 Fifth Doctor is the green on the inside of the shirt here, rather than the red of the earlier ones. And also, none of them have. Look, this is the only guy. This is the same with this one as well. That's weird. That's the only Fifth Doctor I've got that has a red button. None of the buttons on the other ones are red. They're all white. That's strange. The next one I had was this one. This also came with a TARDIS. These two came with TARDISes. This one, I believe, is from the Visitation. So it's season 19 with hat. And this one has a brown stripe, which I believe is more accurate. This one has a sort of red stripe here. This one has... this one's more black. I have another one that you can see. This guy here. Get out of frame. He had more of a brown stripe. I'll bring him in. This is also season 19. This is from Earthshock. This one's from Earthshock. And your main reason... Well, what's the difference between, say, this guy and this guy? Well, I'll show you the reasons and why. Because they are very specific. What they've essentially done is they've given him some muddy shoes and a muddy arm. Because the figure came with the Cybermen's androids and the little bomb. Of course, in those scenes, he's thrown into the dirt a lot by the soldiers. He's sort of thrown about. He's getting shot at. He's hiding under rocks and stuff. You know, a lot of stuff's happening in those caves. So he's got a lot of the dirt from the caves all over his shoes, on his arm, when he's fallen over, when he's leaning on the ground, disarming the bomb. And I think it's just so they can make the figure a bit more unique, because it was quite similar, of course, to this one. This one came out not too long before this one did, and they thought, how can we spice it up from just not giving him a hat? They tried to make it look a little bit more unique, which I understand. And also, I did actually buy this one with a quality cock-up. Of course, on this one, the inside of the shirt is still white. It should be red. I thought, it was just a thing with the figure. I actually went back to the same shop where they did other Earthshock figures, and I realised they had they'd just missed the paint on that. I did actually have that with the TARDISes, but I might explain that maybe when I do the TARDIS video. It's not bad. There's been worse ones. I've seen ones where their legs have been put on the wrong way around, or they don't have the right hands. It's just a little bit of red on the inside of the shirt, so it's not. I'm not going to complain that much. Right, we've got our 5 Doctors. Now on to the number 6. I've only got 2 of these, so this is fine. These are the 2 I've got. Now, I think my last one of these, I only had 1, so something's changed. So this is the first one I got. This was from the 11 Doctors box set, because of course it was, and this is from Terror of the Vervoids. It's got the pink and purple and green waistcoat and the yellow thing. I don't know what you call that. Cravat, necktie thing, I don't know. And the sort of more iconic coat. The only real differences with the original one of these, the Series 22 figure, is that the pink is a lot more darker. So the bits here and here on the arm and on the lapel here. So it's almost sort of like a magenta, where it was a lot more sort of pink. And I don't have a Season 22 Sixth Doctor. I really wish they did, because they made quite a few. They did it because it was actually one of the first ever Doctors released. Actually, it was one of the first of the 3 classic Doctors. I think it was it 4, 5, and 6. But there was always an issue with these. Not you. The issue was that these bits here of the shirt, the only sort of bits of the shirt you see apart from the collar, were painted the same colour as the waistcoat, which is sort of like a weird sort of browny colour. On this one, of course, they fixed it. So they all had these brown bits on the shirt, and they never fixed it. I do hope they do one of those again, but I think because it's like a painting thing, that's why when they did the next Sixth Doctor, which was this one, which is the Ultimate Adventure Sixth Doctor, they went for this different outfit because it's a bit more simplistic. There aren't as many colours and patterns, so it's a little bit easier to do. Though they did get a few other little things around it, with the fact that the mould, the hands and the head, they aren't painted. That's just the colour of the mould, of the plastic they use. And you can sort of tell because he looks a bit more sort of shinier. Same with the trousers. These trousers, the mould of the trousers, the legs are yellow. And they've just painted these stripes on top. I think the shoes are also yellow as well, but of course they painted the shoes brown. I think a lot of people would like to see a proper Season 20, because it is the sort of Sixth Doctor outfit. It's the most iconic one. I know they've done the blue one a few times as well. Once or twice, one at Comic-Con, one with the 13 Doctors box set. I think if they ever do a Vortex edition Sixth Doctor, it should be a proper Season 22 redone, with all the trimmings. And I think it should come with the cloak, a Revelation of the Daleks cloak, that sort of blue with little bits of gold on. I think it should come with that. But yeah, I've always quite the Sixth Doctor is probably one of the Doctors really grown on me over the years, more than any other Doctor, I think. So the next one is 7. Now I have 3 Seventh Doctors, and they're all a little bit different. So this is the first one I got. This is also from the 11 Doctors box set. Let's move actually 6 out of the way. And let's bring you closer so you're actually in focus. There we go. He's gone out of focus. And where is the focus? There's the focus. There's the focus. So this is in his later outfit, his season 26 outfit. With, of course, the brown coat rather than the sort of pale beige one. He did have his umbrella, but it's just not here. I don't know if I prefer the brown coat to the sort of creamer. I think I do. I think it fits the Doctor bit because he is probably the most. I think I talked about this a while ago. We were having a little debate about the Doctors, but Seven always in audio stories and in TV, he is probably the most threatening Doctor. But yeah, I think this Doctor works being dark. The darker coat fits that. That's what I was getting at there. The next one I had was this one. This came with some Cybermen. I don't know if it's painted right because the handkerchief and the tie hasn't got any detailing on it. It normally does. It sort of has this sort of like gold things on it. Of course, that's a different tie. It's like a blue one. But I swear they all did. I guess interesting would be to see if we could get like a Time the Rani Seventh Doctor, because in that one he has a tartan scar and his jumper's tucked into his trousers and the suspenders are outside. I don't know how you do the jumper thing. I guess it could be a little bit of clever tooling you could possibly do, but again, that could be a good Vortex figure. Or Cursor Fenric Seventh Doctor with the hat and the duffel coat. Yeah, he's definitely more famous. He's not more identifiable, I think, in the cream coat, but I prefer the brown one. And then the last one, which is the latest one I got, which is this one, which is the Big Finish one, which came with a Dalek. And this is the Seventh Doctor in a sort of TV movie-esque outfit. It's not terribly accurate. Of course, in the TV movie, he doesn't wear the scarf. And it wasn't a jumper, it was more like, I think it was a waistcoat, I think. But there's actually the outfit that inspires my GTA character. My main sort of outfit my GTA character wears is based on this outfit. True story there. So those are the only 3 Seventh Doctors I've got. I forgot his. I think it's brogues. These little like sort of brogues. But yeah, there's my Seventh Doctors, and that weird rant of me forgetting how to count will remain cut from the story. Now we're on to our last Doctor, which is good old 8 with his. He's slightly off-centered. This figure is a bit weird. I've wanted this figure for ages because I've always quite liked the 8th Doctor. Even before I listened to his audio stories and I just saw the film, I always quite liked McGann as a Doctor. I think he was quite cool. And this figure is a little bit broken because I think somehow one leg is longer than the other or something because he can't stand up properly. This outfit is very off because it wasn't this grey. The coat was more green than black. There weren't these sort of brown lapels. Like, it's very inaccurate and it's very wrong, but, you know, it's the only one we had for years. I think the only 8th Doctor they've released that I don't have is the bruised Night of the Doctor one from the 13 Doctors box set and the comic one they did with the Dalek, where it's that outfit, but it's all quite multicoloured and quite bright and blocky. So then the next one I got, this was the Big Finish one that came on its own with a Dalek. This is, of course, the Dark Eyes, Ravenous, Doom Coalition, etc., etc. No, it's Dark Eyes to Stranded. Those are the 4 audio stories. Yeah, it's Dark Eyes, Doom Coalition, Ravenous, Stranded, and then the sort of odd ones after that. And then, about a year or so ago, probably 2 years ago now, they made this 8th Doctor 3-pack, which I love very, very much because it comes with these amazing figures. So you get another. They call it just the Big Finish Doctor, I believe. They call it just the Big Finish 8th Doctor, and he comes with the bag, which is just a bag I think Connor had from Primeval, which is nice. I think they made the coat a bit more. It's not as blue. It's a bit more black, and you've got these different shoes. The trousers are a bit darker. It's just a bit better of a figure. And the head is a lot less cartoony. Look how more detailed his head is. Then we've got the Time War 8th Doctor, which looks a bit more like the one from Time War Victorious from how they do the colouring. I don't have the original one. This is the only one I have. But I do like this outfit. I prefer. I never really liked this outfit. This one just fits more with the Doctor. I think the coat's a bit more similar. I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind the outfit. I quite like the outfit. It just doesn't fit this Doctor. I think it's a bit too. Yeah. And he's got like his S-belt and his massive boots. But then we've got the iconic movie outfit. Look at this. It's so pretty with the sort of pearl gold waistcoat. They don't have the. Because on here, it looks like question marks. I think they're meant to be like peacock feathers or something, aren't they? They're really sort of like a feather effect. But on this, it looks like little question marks. So again, it also sort of fits very doctory, you know. As Osgood said, why don't you wear question marks anymore? Unless he still wears question mark. Does that mean the 13th Doctor wore question mark? No, that's beside the... That's questions only one part of the internet will answer, and I'm not willing to go to that part of the internet because that is a very dark and scary place. You know, where only the dregs of society will go. So I'll ask Kieran later. But yeah, it's just a much better outfit. It's just more accurate. The colouring and the green and the little metallic-y bits, and it's lovely. And the sort of beige and the sort of that sort of effect to make it look all woolen and stuff, and it looks like it gets all these bits of lint on it. And these shoes, they fit perfectly. And you just can't beat it, really. You can't knock it. So I guess that's it. So that's all of my. After about what? It must be about 18 months since I did the last one. I'm trying to stand them all up at the end to look cool. So yeah, that's all my classic Doctors. So the next one will be new series Doctors, which I've never done before, so that'll be entirely new. And then I think after that I'll do TARDISes. Then I'll do Daleks, which will be about an hour long. And then I'll do Cybermen, and then also all the miscellaneous monsters and such. Will I get that done before like the end of summer? Probably not, but who knows. But thank you very much for watching this, however long this has been, because I've recorded this in several little parts, so I don't know how long it's actually been. Thank you, as always, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye. Or cheerio, that's what I should say.